Hey, how's everybody doing today? So today we have two scan tools that we're going to compare. On the left here, I've got the Xtool D8W. On the right, I've got the Kingbolen K8. The K8 is relatively new. It's been around about a year and a half. It's in the same price range as the Xtool. And what my plan is to just go over the features. We're going to boot them up here in a minute. We're going to see which one boots up the quickest. We'll go over the features, the specs, then I'm going to hook them to a car, and we'll take a look at the graphing abilities of these scan tools. So the Xtool has a 1.5 gig 4-core processor. I'm not sure of the processor on the Kingbolen. I could not find the specs anywhere. If anybody knows that, please leave a comment. The Xtool has 4 gig of RAM and 64 gig of ROM. The ROM is the amount of storage that you have. The Kingbolen is 2 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of ROM. So they both operate Android 10. They both have 8 megapixel cameras. They both have 8-inch screens. Both offer 2.4G and 5G Wi-Fi. They both have CAN FD and DOIP capability. The Xtool is 8-in-1 graphing. The Kingbolen is 12-in-1. The Xtool has a 7.2 volt, 5,000 milliamp battery. The Kingbolen K8 has a 3.7 volt, 21,600 milliamp battery. Now the K8, the Kingbolen, is also FCA auto auth compatible. So if you have a 2018 or newer Chrysler, Dodge, or Fiat vehicle, you'll be able to pay a $50 a year fee on the Auto Authority website, and you'll be able to register this scan tool and be able to connect up to that car and unlock the secure gateway module so that you can scan, codes, reset the codes, get into the modules, do bidirectional tests, and all that. This particular Xtool does not have that. You would have to step up to the version 2 D9. In D9S and D9S Pro. The Xtool advertises 38 plus resets or special functions and has 3 years of free updates. The Kingbolen advertises 34 special functions or resets, and it has PMI function for Ford, Lincoln, and Mazda, and online coding for Volkswagen, Audi, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and Porsche. Now, I'm going to go ahead and boot both these up. I'm going to hit the power button at the same time. We're going to watch them boot up, and we'll just see how they do. So let me find the power buttons here. Here we go. Push them down for a couple seconds. Both have their logos popping up on the initial boot up screen. And while we're waiting for them to boot up, the BCI for the Xtool operates using Wi-Fi. Okay, the Kingbolen's already booted up and it's ready to go. Xtool's almost there. The BCI for the Xtool has 3 indicator lights showing that you're connected to Wi-Fi, that it's powered on, and that it's communicating with the vehicle. Okay, the Xtool's booted up. The VCI for the Kingbolen is a Bluetooth VCI. It's got a nice little ring LED around right there to let you know that you're powered up, and it also flashes and turns colors depending on if it's connected or not and when it's communicating. So basically, of course, they'll both scan for codes. They scan all modules. They're both what they call all systems scan tools, so they'll scan every module on the car. We're going to go ahead and go into the special functions menu, and I'm just going to scroll using the Xtool first, and I'll let you look at the special function menu that it's got. Now, not all these will be applicable to every year, make, and model. So, for instance, the electronic parking brake option If your car doesn't have an electronic parking brake, then that option is not going to be applicable to your vehicle. Now I'm going to scroll. Let me get this recording button moved down. I'm going to scroll on the K8. And that's what you got on the K8. So they're both pretty equivalent as far as special functions. Now the K8 has a TPMS feature here. You can buy the TPMS programming tool, and it'll pair with the K8, and you can program TPMS sensors on your car. The Xtool does not offer that. Now Xtool does offer a TPMS programmer that's standalone. The Kingbolen, you've got a quick check button here. Can't remember what that was. And it'll go through and do a quick check of the car. Now, the one thing I do like about the Kingbolen that I wish every scan tool had was, and I just showed it and you probably didn't even catch it, but I'm going to hit this button again, and I'm going to show you what Kingbolen allows you to do if you're ever on one of those cars or a module that, let's say, it's just not connecting up to. Let's say you forget to turn the key on. I've done that numerous times, and I've started a scan. It's trying to communicate, and I realize the key's not on, and I can't back out of it and end the scan. I've got to wait until it goes through its entire cycle. But I'm going to hit this, and while it's in the middle of this, I can hit back. It pops up with a deal. I can hit yes and back out of anything at any given time. And whenever you're on the clock making money, you don't want to sit there and time is money. So you don't want to sit there and wait for it to go through an entire process that you already know it's not going to be successful at because you either forgot to turn the key on or maybe you hit the wrong button and you want to back out of it real quick and go into a different module. Anyway, the Kingbolen, I have noticed, anytime that happens, I'm able to back out of it right then and end whatever the function was that I was attempting to do. Intelligent diagnosis, that's where you're going to click to, as long as you're connected to Wi-Fi, it goes through an entire diagnostic of the vehicle, does a scan and all that. Diagnosis on the Kingbolen here in the red, the upper left, that's where you would manually enter your car. So you pick your car, your year, your make, the whole deal. You got coverage list on the Kingbolen. You just click that and it'll tell you everything that this covers. Now module, and I need to show you the back of the scan tool, but you can connect a printer, a video scope, an oscilloscope, and a battery tester. And if you look right here in the upper right, it's got coming soon. They could add more to this. Now, whether or not they do, I don't know. But let me show you on the back of this tool before I forget. So on the back of the K8, you've got this expansion module plug. Whenever you take these off, or loosen the screws, not really. You've got an expansion slot here. You got these pins right here. There's adapters that they're going to be making that's going to interface with this scan tool. And you've got it looks like a micro SD slot so that you can expand the storage. Now, both these have 8 megapixel cameras on the back. Now, another nice thing, in fact, there's the camera on the Kingbolen. Another nice thing I like about the K8, I accidentally hit that button, is if you look at the kickstand, it actually goes 180 degrees from closed. And it's a friction-based kickstand. So wherever you put this kickstand is where it stays. So if you need to just have it at a slight angle, a little bit more of an angle, a little bit more, all the way up to where it's almost straight up and down. That's a nice feature. You can even put it like that, and then you could hang it, hang it on a hook or something so you can see it. but I think that's a very nice feature. Remote assistance on the Kingbolen is where you can ask their tech department if you're having problems with the scan tool. They can log in and help you with it. Of course, you got store, where you can go in and buy different items. For the scan tool, you got a file button. Repair info, want to go ahead and show you that. It's got a nice little database for DTCs. So if you had a, I don't know, I'll just do PO340. And it gives you a nice little explanation of what that particular code is all about. Of course, coverage list. Here's where you would, any videos that's saved, that's where you'd find that. You got learning materials. Can't remember what that was. Let's click it. Special function playback learning. Looks like the only thing they've got in there right now is GM and USA Ford. We'll just click Ford. 2017 ABS module replaced brake pads. So, assuming it'll probably, okay, well, coming soon. Let's click GM, see what they got for GM. Here's 2014 radio module learning. If they keep adding to this, this will be a nice feature to have. So it looks like it's a video that walks you right through the procedure. So let's back out of that. Of course, you got camera, browser, and user manual that's built in. Of course, here's where your updates would be. This is fully updated. Of course, you got feedback. And then to get into the settings, you click the little gear up in the upper right corner, and then you've got all your settings that you can put in. Business information, customer management. It's got a nice customer management database. So as you're working on cars, you can put in all the information that you want for a customer and be able to pull it up. Diagnostic records, photo album, screen recorder. Then you got another settings right here. This is all your stuff there. You can cast the screen. So if you wanted to cast this onto a, I don't know how to get back. There we go. Onto a 55-inch screen, you'd be able to do that. Mode switch. This is if you wanted to attach additional modules, or if you wanted to use it, connect your computer to it so you can transfer files, which I do that all the time. Like this screen recording, I'm going to transfer that to my computer using that interface. Now, just to show you the top of this scan tool, so you've got your power button on the K8. You've got a USB-C and a USB-A connector. And that is pretty much everything we're going to do on the K8 until we hook it up. Now, the D8W, of course, we've already looked at the special functions. Now, report. You've got reports here. As you scan vehicles and stuff, that'll pop up, and you'll be able to pull those reports back up. You got CSV view. That's if you save certain types of data, if you've recorded certain types of data. Of course, your updates. This is fully updated, so I'm not going to click it. More. You've got your profile, VCI management, endoscope, and user manual. Remote controls, the same thing as the remote assistance on the K8. They can remote in and possibly fix something that's going wrong with your scan tool. Of course, you got your settings. And that's pretty much it as far as the app itself goes. Now, if you swipe up, you can go to Home. And then here's where you're going to get to the tablet settings and some more of the stuff that's pre-installed on the scan tool itself. So now let's go ahead. What I want to do, whoops, I want to get that started back up, is I'm going to plug the VC. I've got a splitter here. And you can see that the this VCI has got a nice green LED ring around it. And then the Xtool VCI has got a series of 3 LEDs. So we're going to connect these scan tools up and specifically just go into the okay, so what I want to do is just do a we're just going to do an auto scan, and we'll start off with the Xtool. All right, so I'm just going to hit OK. It's already ID'd the vehicle. Hit OK to that. And I'm just going to hit automatic scan. And one thing you're going to notice is that the Xtool does have topology. The K8 does not. You'll have to step up to the K10 if you want topology. But I will say that the topology on aftermarket scan tools, I would not trust 100%. A lot of people like it because, you know, I call it eye candy. The problem is you're relying on the manufacturer of the scan tool to get this accurate as far as the layout of the modules on what bus lines that they're on. So it could actually lead you down a rabbit hole if you're just going to rely on this for troubleshooting. So just keep that in mind. If you do have an aftermarket scan tool with topology, keep in mind that it's all up to the manufacturer of the scan tool to make sure this is accurate. And unless you have a factory scan tool or a diagram from factory service data to show you what the layout is, don't trust it. Okay, so that probably took about 60 seconds or so. Not too bad. We've got a lot of faults now because the battery ran down on this car. The battery needs to be replaced, actually. But if we let this car sit for more than about 3 days, the battery's dead. We got to jump it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit diagnosis or intelligent diagnosis for the K8, and we'll go through the same thing with it. And then we're going to get into the way the graphing works on both these scan tools. So it's ID'd the car. I'm going to hit diagnosis and health report. Now you can hit system scan, which does a real quick scan of all the modules. You can hit system selection, which allows you to go in and manually select what modules you want. And then common functions are functions that this particular car has that you can get straight into and check. I'm going to hit health report. The nice thing about the K8 is, see this little timer right here? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's the actual timer, and that tells you how long it's taken for this particular scan to take place. And it looks like right at 1 minute is how long that took. So what I want to do, I know this video is probably getting longer than what you guys are wanting to. We're going to go right into the engine control module. This is an automatic car, and I want to pull up read data stream. I'm going to do the same thing over here on the Xtool. Get into the engine control module, automatic transmission. And we're going to go into engine data. You know what? Hold on a minute. Let's just go into oxygen sensor. Live data on the Xtool. We're going to go into O2. Now you'll see there's up to 61 PIDs that can be selected. And what I want to do is select 12 PEDs on the K8. I want something that's going to like fluctuate and move so you can see it on the graph. We'll do engine speed. Remember, you can do up to 12 on the K8. The nice thing about the Kingbolen is you can select more than, you can select however many you want. You can graph 12, but you can select however many PIDs you want, which is nice. So I'm going to hit OK on the K8. And then we're going to get over here and we're going to select hopefully the same, pretty much the same PIDs on this one. We had engine speed. There's engine load. I can't remember if we had engine load or not. Mass airflow sensor. Engine speed. Now we only have one more on the on the Xtool. We'll do engine control or engine temp sensor. Now, if you look on the Xtool, it does not allow me to select any more. I've selected 8. That's all I can pick. That's not really good because you may not even be wanting to graph them. You might just want to be to have a faster update rate. So you, instead of 61 PIDs, you might want 12 or 15. You know, you want to cut down that number so you'll have faster update rates. But it's not giving me the choice. It's either 8 or it's all of them. So I'm going to hit custom. And there's our custom list. There's 8. Now, if I want to graph this, I hit chart and then I go to graph. And there's our 8 graphs on the Xtool. Now, if I want to graph on the K8, I hit graph, and I've got 12 nice small graphs going on there. If I want to see one enlarged, I just tap it, and it pops right up. Hit the back arrow to get back to the 12. So let me start this vehicle up. Now, one thing that a lot of people might like is on the K8, you'll see you've got a live reading of the voltage. You've also got imperial and metric button that you can switch in real time. But you can see right there that we're able to pick us a graph and watch it. The K8, it's a nice colorful graph. Go back. Both of them are very responsive. The Xtool is a nice responsive graph also. So, you know, as far as the usability of the graphs themselves, I think both of them are probably equal. The K8 is a little nicer to use, obviously, because you can see right here how much nicer and colorful it is. You've got different colors for different, well, I say that, maybe they're all blue. Okay, so they're all blue when it's on a single graph. But you can see they're all different colors whenever they're all displayed at the same time. Now, I think... No, so on my Launch Pro 3 Ace, you can turn it vertical and it'll auto rotate. I guess the K8 doesn't do that. Now, if you wanted to deselect some of these, the little arrow right here on the right, you can actually deselect some of those and then swipe it back, and you've got a little bit bigger graphs to look at. So, you know, that's also a nice feature. The Xtool, all you've got... Now, the D8 BT had better graphing abilities, in my opinion, than what the D8W's got. Because this is all, I believe, that you've got as far as graphing. Hold on a second. Let me see what 2 graph, 4. You do have some options up here on the top. Let's go to 6. So I guess you do have that, which isn't bad. Not bad at all. 1 graph. Now let me go back to, we'll do 4. And then you can reset it to where it cleans it back up. Now and both these you can record the graph. You can combine. Again, remember you've got your chart, and then you've got list, column, graph, 2D graph. Graph is normally what I use. Now on the K8, you've got what they call gesture scaling. So if you take your fingers and you just kind of like on your phone, you can squeeze that and make it however you want. Same with the vertical scale. So that's pretty nice. You do not have that on the Xtool, but you can clearly see that. Let me go back to a single graph on the Xtool. You can see the graphing is very nice on the Xtool also. So to me, the graphing is a little bit better on the K8. Anyway, that's about all I wanted to show you. Just some main differences between these two scanners. They're both priced right around the same. They're about $25, $50 from one another. So, whichever one you think would work better for you, that would be the one that you probably should go with. Anyway, we're pretty much done. This was a comparison of the Xtool D8W and the Kingbolen K8 automotive scan tools. You guys take care. We'll see you.